Greetings to everyone that is watching and, of course, listening to me right about now. I am here to encourage you and to let you know about what is happening. You see, there are things that are happening to you that you need to be aware of. The Bible says it clear that the sons of Issachar understood the times and knew what Israel ought to do. You need to understand the times you are living in. These are perilous times. These are dangerous times. Don't trust everyone because even the person you have trusted could betray you. Your next betrayer is just around you. There are people you speak to on a daily basis. There are people you interact with. There are those that you call friend. You see, betrayal comes from a friend, not from an enemy. And I've talked about this, I've spoken about this many times on various occasions of how Jesus was betrayed by his own friend, Judas Iscariot. And even in betrayal, Jesus called Judas friend. He said, "Friend, what have you come to do? Whatever you are going to do it fast." There's another man by the names of Joseph who was betrayed by his own brothers because of the dreams. They said, "There comes a dreamer. Let us throw him in this pit, and we shall see what will become of his dreams." That's what his brothers did. They threw him in a pit. They hated him because of his dreams, and also because of the coat of many colors that his father had given him. Today's word is from the book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 to 30. Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 to 30. And it reads, "Another parable he put forth to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, 'Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?' He said to them, 'An enemy has done this.' The servants said to him, 'Do you want us then to go and gather them up?' But he said, 'No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.'" Beautiful word. Now, Jesus tells us of a parable of the wheat and tares. What are tares? Some of you have heard what we call weeds. WEEDS, weeds. These are unwanted crops. Some would define them as unwanted crops in the garden, so to say. Things that you do not grow, but then you wake up and you find them in your garden. Those are weeds. And these things will compete with your crops for sunlight. Make note of that. The weeds that are in the garden compete with your crops for sunlight. In other words, they suffocate your plants. They look identical. Some of the weeds look identical to your crops. But if you have been along that farming line, you will know that these are unwanted crops. Now the Bible says, another parable he put forth to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field." Notice that Jesus likens the kingdom of heaven to a man. This is a parable. He likens it to a man who sowed good seed in his field. I want you to make note of that word, good seed. It was not bad seed, it was good seed. But while men slept, my God, men have the tendency of sleeping. While men slept, Bible says that his enemy came and sowed terrors among the wheat and went his way. My goodness. Everyone has an enemy. Just because you are living in peace doesn't mean that you don't have an enemy. You have an enemy that is watching you, that is monitoring you, that is listening to you. Everything that you do, the enemy knows it. Bible says, while men, you see, the enemy is always waiting for you to sleep. Could be physical sleep, could be spiritual sleep. It's why it's very important that you should pray. Jesus found his disciples sleeping and he woke them up. And he said, couldn't you watch and pray with me for at least an hour? Notice that Jesus emphasizes prayer. That he says that men ought to pray and not faint. That means if you're not praying, you're fainting. Spiritually, you're fainting. You are losing it out. You're being left behind. Jesus prayed. And if Jesus can pray, who are you not to pray? Listen to me. If Jesus himself can pray, who are you not to pray? If the apostles can pray, who are you not to pray? If your pastor can pray, spend hours praying, what confidence do you have? I know some of you always go to your pastors to pray for you, to your leaders to pray for you. What about you? You need to have your personal relationship with God. The enemy is planning to sow terrors among your wheat. The enemy is planning to destroy your harvest. Some of you wake up in the morning with a disease. You don't know where it came from. The enemy has done it. Listen to what the Bible says. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the terrors also appeared. My God. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have terrors? He said to them, an enemy has done this. An enemy has done it. The owner knew that this kind of destruction is done by the enemy. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus has come that you may have life and have it abundantly. The thief is not your friend. No, he's not your acquaintance. He's never your confidant. Some of you are so comfortable with the thief to the extent that you have made him your confidant, and yet his main goal is to steal, kill, and destroy. I am running out of time, but I've not run out of good news. I wish I could speak to you, but because of time, we need to be time conscious. I hope this word has blessed you. Until next time, shalom.